Have you ever wondered why, in the United States, the national anthem is played at almost every sporting event? Do any nations besides the United States do this? Well, according to Mark Ferris, the author of the book Star Spangled Banner, The Unlikely Story of America's National Anthem, the tradition of playing the national anthem can be traced back to the 19th century when the United States was experiencing times of war. The first time the song was documented being played during a sporting event was in 1862 at the time of the Civil War in Brooklyn, New York. It was only during the time of World War II that it became a common occurrence because it became a method of promoting national pride. Other nations do not do this to the extent that America does, and in most other parts of the world, Ferris says, as anthems are only heard during international competition.
Since then, sports and politics have been intertwined. Since the origins of professional sports, athletes have reflected the political and social environments of the time. For example, professional athletes were segregated based on the color of their skin. Athletes have not been silent about the discrimination that they face playing professional sports. For some athletes, playing sports allows them to not only showcase their skills, but also to use their public platform to be activists in the name of their beliefs. This activism tends to attract both positive and negative attention from news outlets and the public in general. Athletes throughout history have put themselves in this position and stood up for important causes. Here are just a few of the most notable examples of athlete activism throughout history.
At the 1968 Summer Olympic Games in Mexico City, African-American sprinters Tommy Smith and John Carlos stood atop the medal podium, bowed their heads, and raised their fists during the playing of the national anthem to represent the Black Power movement. This took place during the Civil Rights Movement in America. Their actions caused much controversy and millions of Americans were outraged. From the day the two committed the act, they have had to live with the consequences of their actions. Their families received death threats and they were ridiculed in public. However, at the same time, many more around the world were inspired at the courageous and expressive act the two took part in. The act became known as the Black Power Salute and is now a symbol of heroism and international awareness for racial inequality. It also inspired other athletes of color to become successful Olympians such as Michael Johnson and Usain Bolt.
Jackie Robinson was another early activist for racial equality. In 1947, Robinson became the first African-American person to play Major League Baseball for the Brooklyn Dodgers. He won the Rookie of the Year award that very first year in 1947. Later, in 1962, he was inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame. Robinson became an inspiration for other athletes of color as he showed the world that people of all backgrounds should be allowed to play sports together. Eventually, after Robinson's success, more black players joined Robinson in the major leagues in 1948. After he retired from playing baseball, Robinson remained active through political and social justice work. He served on the board of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, authored a newspaper column about race relations, family life, and politics, and created the Jackie Robinson Construction Company to build low-income housing for minority people.
Muhammad Ali, known as one of the greatest boxers of all time, was not just a highly respected athlete, but also a philanthropist and religious activist. He donated to many charities and advocated for the good of Islam. Ali was persecuted because of his beliefs and was even banned from professional boxing for 3 years. After the terrorist attacks on September 11, 2001, Ali defended Islam and wanted to remind Americans that terrorists don't represent the millions of people around the world who practice the religion. His own words were, "I think the people should know the real truth about Islam. You know me, I'm a boxer. I'm called the greatest of all time. People recognize me for being a boxer, a man of truth. And I wouldn't be here representing Islam if it was really like the terrorists made it look. Islam is about peace against killing, murder, and terrorists. And the people doing it in the name of Islam are wrong."
Ibtihaj Muhammad is a well-known advocate for religious freedom today. Muhammad, a U.S. Olympian, was was the first Muslim American woman to compete in the Olympics while wearing a hijab. She frequently speaks up regarding her experiences as an Olympic-level athlete and a woman of color. In her recent book, Proud, Muhammad recounts, "I've had to fight for every win, every place at the table, every ounce of respect on my path to world-class athlete. And I will continue to fight because the prize this time, an America that truly respects all of its citizens, is worth more than any medal."
One of the most notable athletes currently fighting for gender and racial equality is Serena Williams. Williams has been consistently one of the top, most dominant players in the world. She has become more vocal about issues of social equity throughout her career, using social media as a way to promote her views. She strongly supports the Black Lives Matter movement and equal treatment for women in tennis and other sports. Recently in the final of the 2018 US Open, Williams lost to Naomi Osaka due to game penalties in the second set of the match. She was warned for illegal coaching, penalized a point for breaking her racket, and then penalized a game for verbal abuse of the chair umpire. She was given a code violation because her coach gave her coaching hand signals from the stands, which is deemed as illegal. Williams was upset by the violation, claiming he was simply giving her a thumbs up, and demanded an apology from the chair umpire. She received a second violation for smashing her racket on the court, and then a third violation for continuing to argue with the umpire. She was fined $17,000 along with her loss. Williams said that she believed that she was treated this way because she is a woman. This controversy has sparked possible changes in tennis rules.
Besides advocating for racial, social, and religious equity, athletes are also fighting for gender equity and equity for the LGBTQ community. Megan Rapinoe is team captain and professional soccer player for the Seattle Reign FC. She is also a member of the United States women's national soccer team, where she contributed to their success in the 2015 World Cup and 2012 Summer Olympics. As a member of the LGBTQ community, Rapinoe is also a prominent advocate for LGBTQ rights and has worked with numerous organizations such as Gay, Lesbian, and Straight Education Network and Athlete Ally. Rapinoe explains, "As I got more into gay rights, I got more into equal pay, and you just see that it's all connected. You can't really speak out on one thing and not another without it not being the full picture. We need to talk about a larger conversation in this country about equality in general and respect."
Most recently, one of the most notable sports activists is Colin Kaepernick. In 2016, Kaepernick generated a great deal of controversy by choosing to kneel rather than stand during the national anthem prior to the start of his NFL games as a quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers. He did this as a protest against racial inequality in the United States, specifically in response to several instances of police shooting unarmed black men. Many ridiculed and berated Kaepernick, saying him and any other athletes who choose to protest should be fired. However, others positively supported him by doing the same. Because of his activism, Colin Kaepernick was awarded prestigious honors. Some of these honors include the 2018 Ambassador of Conscience Award by Amnesty International and the W.E.B. Du Bois Medal. In September of 2018, Nike included Kaepernick, as well as Serena Williams, in his 30th anniversary ad of his Just Do It slogan, which paralleled his activism in their vision.
What do you think? Does sports activism matter? Should athletes continue to use their positions in the spotlight to discuss matters of equity and social justice? As citizens of the United States, we have the right to protest and the right to freedom of speech. If we forbid athletes from protesting when they see injustice in the world, would we be suppressing their basic rights as citizens of the U.S.? As professional athletes, being a role model will inspire others to exercise their rights and beliefs to make a difference. In the words of Colin Kaepernick, believe in something, even if it means sacrificing everything.